It is the 5th of February 2020, a day that will go down in infamy. But here we are. Let me shut the door to my studio. There we go. We're all set. As you know by now, of course, we're recording this almost immediately after the impeachment vote or the conviction vote was taken. Only it turned out to be an acquittal vote. No surprise there. So the filthy pig's 4-month impeachment and conviction saga is over. Acquitted by the Senate today on both charges, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. It's just astonishing to me, but that's where we are. There's not a Republican, and don't give me this Mitt Romney bullshit either. There's not a Republican in the Congress who has the courage or the honor that evolution gave a pissant. It's just not there, and it never will be. So we're done with that. Trump will always have an asterisk next to his name, as pointed out by the Washington Post, as the third president to be impeached, but he'll remain in office. And now we'll have a president for the first time in modern history seek re-election after having been impeached and carrying that nasty little asterisk following him around like a little, I don't know, like a little rabid bat or something, right? Just be following him around forever, well, until he dies. The Senate voted on each article of impeachment separately. As you know, 67 votes were necessary to convict this filthy pig. The most important takeaway from this, of course, is what everyone has been telling us, telling me, what we already knew, what you knew, and so did I, that the vote would be totally partisan. Not a single Democrat voted to acquit this filthy bastard, which surprises me. I thought Joe Manchin was going to do his usually Benedict Arnold bullshit and vote with the Republicans, but he didn't. Bless your heart, Joe. Even the senators representing so-called Trump-friendly states, only one Republican voted to convict him on one count, and that was the now sainted Mitch Romney of Utah. However, the only good thing that Romney's vote does, it changes how this gangster son of a bitch Trump can talk about his impeachment going forward. He can no longer technically say that his impeachment was solely driven by Democrats. One Republican, one who has a very famous name, voted to convict him. I'm so goddamn old. I remember when his dad, George Romney, was the governor. Well, he was the governor of Michigan for a while, but then he was secretary. I forget what his cabinet position was. But it was in 1968. He was running for president. George Romney was. And he made a trip to Vietnam. And when he came back, he gave a press briefing. And he had, maybe it was studied, but he had a very shocked look on his face where he stood there and said he'd been lied to. I don't know if he said lied to, but that's what he meant. He'd been lied to about our racist imperialist adventure in Vietnam. He had been lied to. Of course, that ended his chance to be elected president. Ended his chance to get the nomination. Nixon went on to get the nomination. Was it 68? Yeah. Have I got that right? Yeah, that's right. And then the following, in 74, or in 72, damn, it's hard to remember that far back. In 72, when Nixon ran for re-election and he had a landslide victory, Americans love racism. We love being bullies around the planet. We love dictators. A filthy pig like Trump being the president, a long process for us to finally pick some degenerate like Trump. But in a manner of speaking, that's what we did. We can argue until hell freezes over about the electoral vote and Hillary got 3 million more votes and so on and so forth. But here's a truism that cannot be denied. Trump is the president, and he has been for 3 years plus, and he will probably be reelected. This is what we have come to. We can talk about the pigs in the Republican Party, the Christian hypocritical pigs in the Republican Party, in both the House and the Senate. We can talk about them if we want, but they didn't get there out of the barrel of a gun. They didn't hold a gun to people's heads. They lied. They're deceptive. They're evil fuckers, these Republicans, but they still got voted into office, just like Hitler didn't move in on Germany with an army, did he? No, he was appointed chancellor after being, he was elected to the German parliament, right? But the fact that this unconscionable pig, this Trump, is the president of the United States rests on us. Now, not you singularly and not me. Of course not. You and I would no more vote for a half-human, an evil bastard like Trump than we would open up one of our own carotid arteries. We would never do that, ever, under any circumstances. Democrat, Republican, doesn't make any difference. Somebody that blatantly stupid, venal, criminal, mobster fucker like Trump, no, we never would have voted for him. But by God, somebody did. Tens of millions of somebodies. And that's what speaks volumes to me about where we are in the devolution of our democratic sort of form of government. It was never democratic to begin with. It never has been in its long tortured history. And it is not today, and it goddamn sure is not going to be in the immediate future. This is not a democracy. It's not a democratic republic. It is not. We saw, with the acquittal of this bastard, the legislative branch of government giving up every single bit of its power. Oh, it'll still appear as though it has power, but the legislative branch gave it away to a little prick dictator named Donald Trump. Now, I would ask, how are American history and government teachers in our public school system, or as this pig said last night, in the government schools, something he borrowed from the other pig who won't be around too much longer, who got the Medal of Freedom. Ooh. How are the teachers in the public school system who have put up with this shit for decades, not generations, teachers used to be honored. Now they're seen as teaching against the fucking Bible, right? So how are these teachers going to teach about the three co-equal branches of government when they no longer exist? They do not. And if you believe they do, you're either a Trump supporter, and you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you were, or you're a fucking idiot. Oh my God. Now, right before the vote was taken, I heard via some, I don't know what, maybe it was a newscast or social media or something, but that a big celebration is being planned because Trump has been found innocent, which he hasn't. Innocent, I tell you, innocent. That dirty, shifty ship. He just couldn't pull it off. It was all a hoax. Read the transcript. It was perfect. Yeah, that's coming. And I watched after the turtle asked for a motion to end the whole thing and dismiss everybody, including the Chief Justice of the United States, and the impeachment process and the conviction or the trial broke up. It was all over. And you could see the Republicans standing around, milling around, the senators, laughing and grabbing each other on the nuts and, doing that little thing that white Christian fascist males do, right? Half of them so fucking senile they didn't know where they were. What a day. What a day. Romney said in his speech this afternoon, when he announced how he was going to vote, at least for one article of impeachment, he said this, quote, "The president's purpose was personal and political. Accordingly, the president is guilty of an appalling abuse of the public trust." And immediately, the Twitter bullshit lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. And we're concerned Romney about now an effort will be made to run him out of the Republican Party, which he should get the fuck out. He had the unmitigated gall to vote for conviction on one of the two articles. That is like, I don't know, it's like a Catholic priest butt-fucking a little boy who happens to be part of his... Oh, wait a minute, that's happened thousands of times. Never mind. That's like Rush Limbaugh smoking great big fat cigars and making a joke about it until he developed lung... Oh, wait a minute, that's happened too. Well, I don't know what a good analogy would be. I guess there isn't one. Fuck them all. The long, the short, and the tall.
Hi, Truth Seekers. It's Kathy Malloy. Only you can help save the life of a progressive podcast. Visit MikeMalloy.com and help us keep it lit through the impeachment, the 2020 election, and beyond.